Man, I just cannot wait to talk about Chutes and Ladders because it might be one of the dumbest songs. It might be one of the dumbest songs ever made.
And that's like saying a whole bunch after doing Significant Other.
That's true.
You know, like we come back the week after Significant Other, and it's like, maybe it's just recency bias or something, but I think Korn's like significantly dumber than even Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm positive of that.
Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that too, but because I think I posited the theory on the Significant Other episode that Fred Durst is actually incredibly smart. And I think that no one in Korn is smart even a little bit. I think they're all extremely dumb.
No, they got there by brute force. Like they got where they are because they were able to make music. That was it. That's all it was. They didn't have any brains.
No brains.
There was no brains between any of them.
Very little skill and just a crazy band. We're gonna get to the album in a sec. I just want to let's review episode 1 a little bit because first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who listened to the episode because I don't know if you had any expectations for it, Bryan, but the numbers were higher than I was expecting. I'll say that for a new metal podcast. I mean, I know that people listen to our other podcasts and I assume they like us, but even if you like us, I mean, new metal it's a real stretch. So do you think like because you've been tweeting about it and stuff, has doing the podcast kind of changed the way you are looking at new metal a little bit right now?
I think I'm just listening to it more, which is weird because it's like I haven't listened to metal in years. Like
right.
I think that Mastodon album with Blood and Thunder on it, this is probably the last one that I was like really into. And then after that, I kind of hung up my heavy metal shoes.
And now you're back. The shoes are back on.
Oh, I love the new Korn album. I wish we were talking about the new one. I love that fucking thing. I think it's great.
It's pretty good. Like it kind of sounds, I mean, it's such a cop out to say, new Korn sounds like old Korn. Like that's a thing that bands will do. Like this was Korn's 13th album, the one that just came out. If you haven't heard it, it's called The Nothing. And I feel like that's a marketing tactic that a lot of bands will use. They'll just be like, hey, you remember when you liked us 10 albums ago? We're trying to do that again. And usually it doesn't go great, but I feel like the new Korn album, it kind of goes great.
They added stuff. There's so much more like classic metal now
on
the new one. Like, you listen to this thing and you're like the self-titled stuff or Life is Peachy. And it's like they were really trying to do some different stuff. But with this new one, it sounds like they kind of, it sounds like Pantera at times where you're like, damn, these guys are really going off, or like death metal at times. But then it's still got the groove and I love it. I fucking listen to that thing all the time now.
I've only listened to it like twice through, but I feel like it's good. Like I don't think I'm going to be listening to it a lot, but I don't like, because what I would say is like doing Significant Other, like I re-listened to the album and I was like, the songs I liked in the past, I'm like, I still like all these songs, like Rearranged, Nookie, Just Like This, like, Nobody Like You. It didn't really surprise me. It was like the songs I used to like, I still like. The songs I never really liked, I wasn't like, oh, whoa, undiscovered gem 20 years later. Like I was like, whoa, how did I sleep on that track in 1999? But with this one, I have to say, I felt a little bit like it was fun to go back and listen to it, but I'm not sure that it's going to be something that I'm like anxious to listen to anymore. There's some songs on it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is still a good song, but I don't know. I feel like this album maybe has passed me by a little bit.
Yeah, I think it probably is just the mindset I'm in now. I'm in a really weird space in my life right now too, where I'm like, I have this thing, this project, and then I have the Shocktober project, and I feel like, and I'm gonna go see the Joker movie, and I just feel like I'm in a.
I like that those three things are all lumped in together. I'm talking about shock jocks. I'm talking about new metal, and I'm going to see the Joker.
Yeah, wrestling comes back on TV next week that I'm going to be watching. I think I'm just in a really like heavy metal guy space right now that it's just, you know, something's going to have to happen. Things are going to have to cool down. I'm off the road for like 4 months after November.
Right.
And maybe it'll cool down and I'll like listen to some Radiohead or so. I don't know. Like, I don't even know and that was like my go-to back in the day when they would be like, all you listen to is this metal shit. And I'd be like, no, man. Sometimes I listen to Radiohead.
Yeah, because I feel like Radiohead is like the touchstone band. Like for me, Radiohead is one that you could say to people who like don't even really know what indie music is. You know, like if people are like, oh, what do you like? Like, what do you like to listen to? And you're like, oh, I like indie. And they're like, what bands? And you're like, I don't know, like The National and like Y Oak. And people are like, huh, who, what? Like even The National is like such a big indie band. But I feel like if you're like 40, like in your 40s, like at the time that The National was like coming out with Boxer and Alligator and stuff, so like 10 years ago, so you're like 50 now, like you don't fucking know who The National is. Like Radiohead's like the band you could say, you're like, I don't know, like Radiohead, and then people are like, oh yeah, okay, I get it.
It's also like good way to signify your intelligence.
Of course.
When you listen, like when you say I like Korn, you know, people assume you're going to like watch wrestling next week and then go see the Joker and
yeah, in your case, all the assumptions are right.
Yeah.
When someone's like, oh, you listen to Korn, they're not like, oh, are you like a teacher? Are you like a 33-year-old teacher?
Yeah.
That's not the first thing like they think.
You're a huge Howard Stern fan, I'll bet you. I'm sure of it. You seem like that kind of guy. But it is like, so I think I went through that phase where it was like, yeah, I told everybody I was into metal. And even with new metal, there was sort of like a way to convey that you're better or more intelligent than the other people. And that's the band we're doing next month. You say Deftones is my favorite band. Oh, I like Deftones. That's actually the intelligent choice to be into.
The thinking man's new metal.
It is.
Yeah,
it really is.
It really is, for sure. And we'll get into the Deftones next month. But let's get into this Korn album. So we are going over the Korn self